So, I played through this game on the hardest difficulty, Jedi Grandmaster. Overall, the game's fun. When it didn't crash. Some of the fight encounters were kind of bullshit. Just like actual bullshit, not fun bullshit like a couple of the bosses were. But there's a lot of ghosting, like almost constantly throughout the game. There's a lot of screen tearing up until the patch that came out today, or yesterday, which was May 2nd. I'm not. I kind of understand that this was the final boss. I get it. But the thing of it is, literally a few hours ago, I fought Vader as Sair, one of the characters who died. Like, actual Darth Vader. So, after that, you can't really, like... You can't top a Vader appearance in Star Wars. At least before he dies. You can't. So at that point, you just kind of have to complete Cal's story there. Or at least this story anyways, because there's going, based on that ending, there's going to be a third game. Right? There has to be. So we're getting a trilogy. And the reason why obviously I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but the reason why I think we did have a fight against Vader in this game is because people were so disappointed by the ending of the second game because he just shows up and you run away from him. You hit him like 2 or 3 times and you run. Because Cal would have gotten his ass beat if he had stayed. Like, there's no way you can make that a good fight at that point. So you take the Jedi Master who's in this game, play as her to pit her against Vader, who she almost won, by the way. But as soon as you pull out Vader, you know they're going to lose, because we all know what happens to Vader already. He can't die in any game he's in, unless if you're specifically playing as Luke in the fucking movies. Which is like, okay, it's cool. I love Vader. I love, like, every single scene Vader is in, because he's cool as shit. So I understand why they used him, but they shouldn't have used him. But I also feel like they needed a surefire way to kill off Sair without it feeling bullshit. Yeah, there's the baggage there, absolutely. Like, I'm not gonna say it's kind of dumb, but I did enjoy that section of the game because I thought it was cool as shit. Because that's what Star Wars is good at, right? The big set pieces, the cool fights, the really neat choreography and all that shit. That stuff's cool as shit. However, you throw Vader in. Vader's like Sephiroth. It doesn't matter how bad you bend the plot, including him, you have to... Yeah, exactly. Like, I will admit, having Sephiroth as the last boss of Remake was kind of, after thinking on it, was kind of dumb. But it was a really cool set piece and shit. I get it. But they could have tried something else. They could have gone bigger with the Force Ghosts or what the fuck ever. But, you know, I mean, it's obvious that you're gonna have Sephiroth in the... They showed Sephiroth from, like, the first hour. Of course you're gonna have Sephiroth throughout the game. And again, I get it. It's supposed to be a fucking sequel to fucking time loop Advent Children thing, but listen. It's supposed to be a timeline loop. The loop begins fucking when Eric's looking in the fucking pipes at the fucking live stream that's leaking out because of the ending to Advent Children, because that's the canonical bad ending of the game. Which is why Remake is even here, so we can get a good ending this time, which means Aerith's probably not gonna die. Anyway, that doesn't matter about Final Fantasy VII Remake right now. But like I said, I get it. Vader, Sephiroth, and like a couple other main villains you can't use in games that aren't like their death areas, right? Well, you can if you want to be like a cool cameo or surprise thing. Like at the end of 1, it makes sense why Vader would show up, because he's in the base, he's supposed to be there doing things. In fucking he just does everything that Vader does, and you have to run. You can't fight him. You will lose. Imagine fighting Frieza in DBZ spinoff or something. Oh, like Dragon Ball Survivors. Except, I guess you can technically beat them because of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey bullshit. Because the Raiders don't even know why they're there. Although I suppose technically the survivors don't either. Imagine playing some Saiyan Mook and all of a sudden Frieza shows up. So, Legend of Bardock? Or not Legend of Bardock, whatever the first Bardock movie. Like, you know he's not gonna win. You know from the beginning Bardock is not, yeah, father of Goku. You know he's not going to win against Frieza. He can't. But, like, I still think having stuff like that in Star Wars, I can a little bit give it a pass. Just, like 10% of a pass. Because it's Vader. It's because it's Vader I can give it a pass. Depending on how he's written. Because we don't fucking know what Vader did during the time of fucking becoming Vader and dying. So, I understand he does this. I understand why they have him in all of these things. I get it. But you were not wrong. He does show up everywhere. But just the mere presence of Vader is just like, I know what Vader does, and I'm going to lose. That's like the whole thing with Vader. And then there's Sephiroth. It's the same thing. It is essentially the same thing top to bottom. Like, imagine, like, forgetting FF7 Remake for a second, right? Imagine Cloud's remembering the Nibelheim incident, right? But for the first time, before you fight the dragon, Sephiroth's just like, I'm going to kill you. That's basically what it is. And he just murders everybody without knowing anything about Nibelheim. Or, better yet, he just offs Zack right in the beginning. Cloud on board. Chink! Because it was Zack who goes downstairs after Sephiroth learns about his past, right? Like, imagine Sephiroth just kills Zack right there. There's no Crisis Core. There's no ending to Crisis Core. Cloud doesn't survive. Tifa's probably actually dead. But yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Yeah, there'd be no FF7 at that point. The game's over. Sephiroth wins. Yeah, they'd be retconning the retcon. Anyways, rest of the game. Gameplay's fine. It was fun. The 5 different styles were all unique, and I had a lot of fun with all of them. The main ones I used were the blaster and the power guard, which power guard's very specific. I probably should have just gone with double blade, double-sided. That one was way more fun. Yeah, prequel problems to walk around, essentially. Dual wielding was really fun too, and the single blade is just single blade, which is also fun. Mind control, I feel like On the hardest difficulty, I feel like you almost have to rely on it with how many bullshit encounters they throw at you. Like, here's like 40 dudes. Good luck. Oh, but you better hope you have your mind control fully maxed out, otherwise you ain't getting shit. Some of the other, everything else is just regular Jedi powers, push, pull, fucking more force powers. Except for Cal, he can slow down time with his, mode ability. So that was kind of neat, too. This game crashed on me 4 or 5 times before the patch, and it crashed on me once during this stream, which would make it 5 or 6 times total, and that was after the patch. So once after the patch and 4 or 5 times before the game crashed, and there was significantly less screen tearing this time around, which was really nice. I'm not gonna lie. When are we gonna get tri-wielding? Dude, imagine having a Jedi wield the lightsabers like Zoro does. I don't know how it would work, but it would be interesting. I think overall the game was pretty solid. In regards to actual gameplay and story, I enjoyed it. However, I'm not gonna sit here and say, no, it's fine. The gameplay and graphics carried the problems of the game, which were inconsistent frame rates, the massive ghosting problem, as I mentioned earlier, the crashes, the pop-in, and very minor load times. Like, I didn't understand why on a PS5 we were getting load times in a game made for the PS5. Because this is like one of the few games I've played on my PS5 that actually has load times. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's a little weird. Like, when I die and have to respawn, I get it. But, like, just going in and out of the tavern, it has to load, right? Like, you sit there for a good, like, 10 seconds waiting for just the tavern to load. And when you leave, you have to wait, like, 10 seconds for the rest of the area to load. But traversing the world, I didn't really notice much in the way of loading either. So, it's like, eh. Yeah, it does go to show you could have the perfect machine and still screw up the loads, yeah. And I can't comment on the PC version, because I didn't play the PC version, so I'm not gonna even start on the myriad of problems that apparently had. Which, apparently some of them have been fixed, so it's mixed on Steam instead of negative, which is great. But I love the first game. I loved it to bits. It was super fun. I don't remember having any problems in the first game. This one, in regards to consistency, it's definitely a step down. The combat was more fun, because there was more stuff to do. A lot of traversing the world was neat. Having the animal companions was cool. Getting the grappling hook was neat. Being able to unlock all of the other things for, like, DB1 with the goop and the thunder jolt thing. That was all cool. I liked all that stuff. Very much like the first game, very Metroidvania-esque. Get power-ups and you can go back, do other cool things. I also had some weird camera problems sometimes, like in the final battle. That was weird. And also grabs are bullshit in this game, because they all auto-track and it's really fucking stupid. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I dodged it, and they're just like, no, you're dead. And so many things one-shot you in this game. I think if I genuinely had to give this a rating, before I give the actual rating, no kidding, yeah, the one-shots are crazy. This is on the hardest difficulty again, remember? If I got hit by a single rocket, that's like 75% of my health gone, no matter how much HP I have. From what I played. So I'm gonna preface this by saying, first and foremost, no matter what rating I give this, do not buy this game at full price right now. Wait a while to get it, because while it is technically worth the full price, in my opinion, I don't know when they're gonna fix all the problems, if they ever fix the problems. Like, how should I put this? The amount of content, the amount of fun you'll probably have, especially as a Star Wars fan, is worth the full price $70. However, due to the issues that plague the game, more at about 40% of the time, which again, ghosting, which is like 80% of the time depending on what you're walking near, the random crashes and a couple of graphical issues and pop-ins and stuff, wait until it's probably close to $40 and it'll more likely be worth it, and a lot of those problems will likely be patched out. Overall, with the game the way it is, as I've played it today, of May 3rd, 2023, I will have to give this game a very high 7 out of 10 if I had to give it a numerical rating, and possibly even an 8. Like, I'm talking, like, if we're going decimals, like 7.8 out of 10. Like, specifically. Like, the gameplay and everything's still good, but the frustrations with the crashing, and while the ghosting didn't really bother me too much, once I noticed it, it started bothering me more, but I eventually just ignored it. Other than that, that's kind of all I really have to say about the game. I don't have much else to say. Too much water. No, the swimming was interesting. Also, my favorite character is Scuba. He's such a funny little dude. He fishes, and he gets fish, and then he tells you stories. And honestly, he's just a joy to be around. I enjoyed the hell out of it, out of him. He was a great character. And okay, that was my review recording for YouTube, because I'm just gonna post the whole thing over there. Bye, YouTube. Say goodbye, everybody, even though YouTube can't see the chat. Goodbye.